Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are pulling back the curtain on China's tech giants. We're going to go way beyond the headlines to unpack the term BAT and reveal the real power structure behind these massive companies. Trust me, it's a story of kingdoms, digital traffic, and an all-out war for control of the internet.
So, you've probably heard the acronym BAT thrown around, right? It stands for Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. And for years, it's been the go-to shorthand for China's biggest tech titans, kind of their version of America's Google, Amazon, and Facebook.
But here's the thing. That simple one-to-one comparison, it completely misses the real story. See, it's not just about who's the biggest. It's about who holds the keys to the entire digital kingdom.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The whole idea of BAT as the stable, untouchable Big Three is really starting to show some serious cracks, and we need to figure out why.
Well, for starters, the B in BAT, Baidu, has seen its growth really slow down. At the same time, you've got these new challengers just exploding onto the scene. There's the so-called TMD group, that's Toutiao, Meituan, and Didi, and of course there's ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. Some people are even arguing they should just replace Baidu in the acronym altogether.
And here's where it gets really wild. If we just look at the money, the revenue, there's a huge elephant in the room that's often left out of this conversation: Huawei. I mean, look at this. In 2019, Huawei's revenue was nearly equal to all three BAT companies combined.
So, if it's not just about raw revenue and the lineup of who's on top is changing, it raises a huge question, right? Why is this acronym, BAT, still the absolute key to understanding China's entire tech world?
The answer has absolutely nothing to do with their bank accounts. It has everything to do with their absolute iron-fisted control over how users move around the Chinese internet. It's all about control.
Now, to really get this, you have to stop thinking about them as just companies. I want you to picture the Chinese internet as this giant continent divided into three powerful warring kingdoms. It's an idea that comes straight out of one of the most famous stories in Chinese history, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
The real currency in this war isn't money. It's what we call internet traffic. It's just the flow of people online. And controlling where users go, how they get there, and, this is the most important part, where they can't go, that's the foundation of their entire business model.
Think about it for a second. There are pretty much three main reasons you go online, right? You're looking for information, you want to buy something, or you want to connect with other people. Well, in China, each one of those gateways, each of those kingdoms is completely ruled by one member of BAT. Baidu controls search, Alibaba controls e-commerce, and Tencent, they control social.
But, and this is key, not all of these kingdoms are created equal. Social traffic, which is Tencent's kingdom, is by far the most powerful. It's incredibly sticky. Once all your friends and family are on an app, it's almost impossible to leave. E-commerce, on the other hand, is the most vulnerable. Its borders are constantly at risk of being invaded by the other kingdoms.
And that exact vulnerability is what forced Alibaba into this series of desperate, high-stakes defensive wars to protect its e-commerce fortress. And believe me, the story of these wars brilliantly illustrates the entire power dynamic of the Chinese internet. So let's walk through the battles, one by one. It kicked off back in 2006. Tencent tried to invade Alibaba's territory by funneling millions of users from its QQ social network straight to its own shopping site. Then, just 2 years later, Baidu launched its own attack, using its powerful search engine to push its own e-commerce platform. Finally, in 2013, Alibaba saw the insane growth of WeChat and basically built a digital wall, preemptively blocking its rival before it could even think about attacking.
And Alibaba's founder Jack Ma, he definitely did not hold back his thoughts on his rivals. He publicly blasted Tencent's strategy, calling their e-commerce attempt totally unoriginal, basically saying it was just a copycat that was doomed to fail from the start.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. Alibaba's survival depended on this really radical strategy. To defend itself from Baidu's search kingdom, it literally blocked Baidu's search spots from its sites. And to defend against Tencent's social kingdom, it blocked its shopping links from ever being shared on WeChat. It intentionally turned itself into this isolated fortress that you had to go to directly, cutting off all the roads from the other two kingdoms.
For years, this hostile three-kingdom setup defined the entire Chinese internet. Each empire had its borders, and if you tried to cross them, it meant war. But now, Now, that delicate, hard-fought balance of power is finally starting to shift. The walls are starting to crumble.
A brand new model is tearing down those old walls. We're talking about social commerce. Newcomers like Pinduoduo are doing what everyone else failed to do. They are masterfully blending Tencent's social world with the world of e-commerce, creating this powerful new hybrid that just completely ignores the old borders.
And this fundamentally challenges the entire power structure that has been in place for more than a decade. It leads us to the biggest question for the future of China's tech scene. Is the era of the Three Kingdoms finally coming to an end?
The walls are definitely coming down. The old maps are being completely redrawn, and as these one-separate territories start to merge and overlap, well, the race is officially on to see who will rise from all this chaos to build the next great tech dynasty.